Hi guys. All right, thank you for joining me for part two. I'm sorry I have to break these videos in these live sessions. It's a problem, a glitch that I've been dealing with and working with. And so we'll have to do that until maybe this glitch gets smoothed out. So forgive me for that. But anyway, it was either that or I don't get to do lives. And I thought I can't give up the lives. I love it too much. So Carol, hi. And Aquarius, thank you for being here. YouTube watcher. Hey, Brian. All right, so let's get jumping back into this story. So, because this was kind of a juicy one, I got to know how is the person that you didn't choose? Okay, so we have we're going to say masculine, but bear in mind it could be any gender. But we have a masculine who ended up getting like more or less pushed in, ushered into a full-on marriage with their karmic, even though it said he knew he was in love with somebody else. And over the time that he's still been married to a karmic, which has not been a happy union at all, although he's worn a facade like everything's fine, but kind of withdrawn himself completely and continued to spy on the person he wishes he'd married, he's actually come to some pretty profound conclusions. Like it's basically he's been healing himself and maybe understanding a little bit more about how you can live life. Like you don't have to be coerced into things and you can live a different life. Let me ask about that person. We call that individual the star person because we had the Aquarius star card come out for her, the person he wishes he'd married. His karmic was a Queen of Cups in the reverse. So we have a Two of Wands and we have the Inspiration of Swords, which is the Page of Swords. I'm going to say she, the person he didn't choose, must have been, at least after a time, must have become clear. I believe he chose someone other than me. So I'm wondering if they didn't really exactly talk about this. I'm wondering if things weren't ended in a way where it's like, you know, hey, we were dating, but actually I'm going to go ahead and be with a karmic. I don't even know. Did he stay with a karmic or did he get remarried to a karmic? Or it feels like there could have been a situation here, even though we didn't see all the components of it, there could have been a situation here where he perhaps didn't like pay attention to how things, you know, like he could have had a choice and instead he got pushed back into a karmic energy flow. We have higher self. I don't know. This feels like he was trying to break away from something. And so he may have still technically been with the karmic, but was like detaching. And that's when, you know, the group pulled him back in and said, no, you stay with the karmic. I'm picturing like a balloon that's about to slip away. And then somebody grabbed a hold and brought him back in and then really reconnected him to a karmic, even more so. And we did have the Hierophant twice. Like maybe there was a detachment and then instead, or going to be a detachment. And instead he wound up even more like connected than ever and stuck more than ever. We have a Five of Wands. I'm going to say that certainly the person he did love that he didn't pick, I think she figured out after a period of time exactly what was up. Maybe she did a little spying on her own, but it's like I know he stayed with the wolf pack. He stayed with the group. I can tell. I peered in and I was sure that I think even though he had a choice, he didn't really have a choice, did he? He didn't see a choice. This is somebody who's looking through a spyglass. So it's like, even though you could choose which direction you want to go, if you keep looking in one direction, that's it. That's the direction you're going to go. And it feels like she saw that. She understood. Maybe she did a little spying and she figured that out. She's like, wow, he was starting to gain his own ideas or thoughts. And then instead, the wolf pack popped up and each person in his life started to say, well, no, you wouldn't want to do that. No, you need to stay here. No, you need to stay. I'm wondering if like every tiny amount of like independence that he was starting to have was basically quickly snatched away again. And I feel like our star person figured that out. We've got the Tower sideways. Yeah. His escape plan, if we want to call it that, was foiled. Didn't have to be. And she's aware of that too. I did a little spying. I figured out he had a choice, but in reality, he didn't make a choice. And there was an escape plan, but it got foiled. And especially right before, like if this card had been upright, he would have been able to break free. Didn't happen. And if we go back to part 1, we saw that. This was him saying, oh my God, I married my karmic. I didn't make the change. I didn't go and be with the person I wanted. I didn't pick the person I actually loved and shake up my world. I went and married my karmic. I keep feeling like he remarried somebody or like had a recommitment ceremony with the wrong person. And he knew it was the wrong person. Three of Wands upright. All of this in her mind was like, well, if he ever did really want to make a change, he ain't making it now, but someday on down the road, things that we don't do in life come back to haunt us. So somewhere down the road, he will have to reface the moment that he almost escaped and didn't. And that'll be his journey to take. So what did you do in the meantime, star person? I'm just wondering. It's interesting because it seems like she's pretty astute with like seeing what he chose. We have the Ace of Swords, but with the Eight of Cups in the reverse. She says, well, I cut him free, except I kind of never did. I let go, but the energetic connection is still there. So I cut myself free enough to move on while still understanding that, and this could be the fact that she knows he still watches her. Look, if she knew darn well, I know that he wanted to be with me, but he didn't pick me. That's probably why it's like, I'm letting him go, even though I know he'll never let me go. Because I'm the one he wanted to pick, but I'm not the one he did pick. You know, really sucks to be him in this. And this is kind of her perception. It's actually great that she doesn't have this huge wound or this huge heartbreak. It's great that she's not carrying that kind of energy. We've got the Action of Wands and it's in the reverse. I would say she knows he wasn't like out playing a game with her. She doesn't even doubt that. She's not like, oh, he just runs around and cheats on other people. And I was just somebody he was cheating with. She knows that there wasn't any game in this. It's just he was trying to cut free and he couldn't. That's a very like accurate and mature way to be able to see what somebody else's, like, I'll call weaknesses are, or why they were unable to break away from their, indoctrination. And it's like, it sucks because I'm the one he's always going to still wish that he'd been with. I know I didn't mean nothing to him. I know this mattered. I know this wasn't something that was, oh, he just runs around and cheats while being married or something like that. I don't even know if he was married exactly, or like I say, if it was like some weird reconnection. It definitely was if he was about to be free of like the whole group and the whole situation. So maybe it was like a separated, not formally divorced, and then instead the community came in and shoved him right back into that marriage. Look, I know we're talking a lot about like somebody as if they have no will of their own, but this situation does say that is a little bit of this. This person didn't really have a will of their own that they felt they could exert. They've had to develop that, and they've been doing it simultaneous to being still in the wrong situation and having, surrendered the situation that they wanted. And maybe they would never have found their own backbone and their own will to choose differently had this thing not played out the way it did. So let's jump ahead and let's just say this. So she tried to let them go, but knows full well they haven't let me go. So if he's been spying on her all this time, if he's very much aware now, I'm with a karmic. I married a karmic. I allowed myself to be coerced into marrying a karmic. Now that he's fully aware of this and has been on this hermit's journey, what does that mean? I mean, there's knowing something and then there's taking action. And those are two very different things. Two of Wands and Five of Swords. Okay, so first, he's big mad. First, he's thinking about taking a different path in life and big mad. I don't know who he's big mad at. Are you mad at yourself? Are you mad at the group? Are you just mad at the situation? Eight of Swords, he's mad at himself for having stayed stuck for so very, very long. It's like time has held still for him. Nine of Swords. He's mad at himself. He's frustrated. All of his dreams have been on hold. We have the dream catcher here, but he's behind bars here. That card is, coming out sideways so we can see how much stress he has. But you know what? He's also, that the card is only sideways, right? So there's also we could say it's stress, but there's also determination maybe to say, well, then I need to get out of this stress. I need to quit wasting any more time because so much time has already been lost. 10 of Pentacles, he's older now because this guy's front and center. I feel like he feels like exsanguinated practically. It feels like he's had some of the, I don't know if his cheeks are hollow or if there's something about him where this has weighed so heavily on him for so very long. But it does look like at least now, maybe he can start thinking about a true 10 of Pentacles. Like, is it too late? This says he's realizing it's not too late. It's just that he's lost some serious daylight, but why lose any more? I mean, I would just say he's very aware that him listening to other people made them content, and they didn't seem to care if he was not content. So maybe that right there is enough for him to say, so maybe it's time I make me happy instead of this group. We have the Strength card. We have the Three of Cups. I don't know if he's about to go out and do something a little bit, uncharacteristic, a little bit wild, like show his backbone and be like, no, I'm leaving. I'm going out. I'm not saying he's going out to a nightclub and got a disco dance, a disco fever. It's the only thing that will cure me. No, I don't mean it like that. Although there's a lot to be said for some good sweaty dancing. But I would just say, when we saw that Three of Cups before in part 1, it was in regards to his star person. He certainly has the personal strength now. Even maybe it's like he had to feel like I have the right to go make myself happy instead of other people telling me what to do that makes them happy and they're not concerned at all about my happiness. If that is the case, Hanged Man and the Fool, these cards are in such opposition to each other. Hanged Man is delaying, thinking about things from a different perspective, and the Fool is just going, just doing it. I feel like because we have like the difference between evening and daytime, it could be that he thinks about this and then finally he's just going to take that big jump, take that big leap. I just got to go. I just have to go do this. Are you sleeping on it and ready to rock and roll the next day or what? We have the High Priestess. I almost feel like he's literally maybe lighting a candle, or maybe he is very spiritual. Maybe he's connecting to, his own higher self, or maybe he's trying to connect to her energy and ask, is this the right thing? Can I speak to you? I'm strong enough to stand beside you now, or I'm ready to make my choice. Is it too late? It feels like he's reaching out in here, not like picking up the phone. King of Swords in the reverse. Still a lot of shame around this. Eight of Wands. Shame, bitterness, tears, embarrassment, frustration. But then it's like, let me get one more before I say anything else, because it's more like a flood of emotions that I'm getting off of those cards. Empress sideways. I almost think that there's so much, I almost want to go so far as to say like a self-loathing, because it's like, I can't believe I could be foolish enough to have even let myself get coerced into marrying the wrong person. And that's the part where it's like, he almost just wants to get that out, like, spit it out, like it's a mouthful of, something bitter, or like, a mouthful of like really astringent lemon juice or something, just like spit that out. Because he's so, I don't know if I would say embarrassed, or he takes it as a reflection on himself. is what it seems like to me, to have this King of Swords in the reverse. This is him, channeling this at himself, saying, what messed up energy must I have been in? What kind of headspace was I in that I could even wind up getting pushed toward a karmic and even faking my way through a connection? Like, yeah, that's an empress. It's not an empress. But then I must have been even more messed up than her to be going along with this facade. And I almost feel like he just wants to say this. Like you notice how he's hitting the bullseye with this. Like that's maybe the thing that he needs to get off his chest is like, I was a mess. I was a freaking mess because I could be, like coerced in something like that. That right there tells me where my headspace was. We got a 4 of Cups, a lot of regrets. And I feel like this is the regret. I know it's not supposed to be a card that represents apology, but this message, this is like the Ace of Cups. And he's like, why didn't I give my heart to my star person? I definitely feel like this is her, not because it makes any sense, but because the imagery makes sense. She's glowing like a star. She's against the backdrop of the night sky. There's that, what should be an Ace of Cups, but this is actually the 4 of Cups card, right? Which means something totally different. It's just not the way I feel inspired to read it. This is what he wants to tell to her, but I feel like he's saying it from here, not from here. And it might be that he's casting this energy and these thoughts out into like the universe, but they're hitting their mark. Somehow she's getting that message. Remember, this is all energy that we're talking about because this is still a message coming through the frequencies that a high priestess uses, right? So this is him sending those thoughts, sending that like moment of clarity, but sending it to her. 6 of Wands. I finally, wrap my head around this. And again, we have the stars all over here. So every time he's like on the right path, you notice that we have the stars. And that was her back in part 1. To me, that makes like a lot of sense as to why he thinks of her like that. And she keeps showing up as a star. I don't know where on earth that card went now. It's probably because she represents healing. She also represented a distance, like when he distances himself from the life that he never wanted to have, but got trapped back in or coerced to remain in. Now that he's breaking free of it, of course, his thoughts are turning to her. And of course, she's going to keep showing up. All these regrets, but then at the same time, like, thank God I finally have done it. I've finally broken free. I'm a lot better than I was before. Okay, so that's actually kind of amazing. 9 of Wands, 9 of Cups. He's happy maybe for the first time ever. You guys, we have to take this to a part 3. I'm so sorry. I don't know how this is getting so long. I feel like I look up and it's only been 2 minutes and I'm like, oh my God, it's 18 minutes. Jeannie Vale, thank you so much. You guys, I will see you in a part 3 in just a split second. I'm so sorry to have to do it this way. I don't know what the better choice is, but I'll see you in just a minute. Bye for right now.